Hello, everybody. This is Robert Price, owner of Elite Minds LLC. It is Thursday, and we are going live today uh, at our 5:30 time. And one of the things that we are definitely going to be chatting about tonight um, really is the after round, talking to our junior golfers. Okay. All right. So hopefully those folks hop back in there. Um, that there was something going on with the volume. So I believe I have fixed that. And let's see if we have that going. Um, I do believe so. Yeah. Here we go. So man, I apologize for those that are out there that were watching and couldn't hear me. Um, but now I have that volume back up and running. So hopefully you all will come back to me. So let's see here. Sorry about that, Gene, Anna. Um, hopefully we're back in there, able to hear better. Instagram folks were able to continue to hear. So I'm curious to know. I love technology when it works. It's amazing. When it doesn't. So we will have to repeat some of this, which is not a problem. All right. So I will let them know what we have going on so that way they can hop in there again. So yeah, I just let some folks know. Thanks for bearing with me a moment. All right. Thanks. How are you? Thank you so much. So sorry about that. I will. Don't worry. I will repeat the things that I was muted on. It's not terrible. I'm able to do so. But thank you for hopping in there with me and hanging in there. I'm probably going to stay on for a little bit longer just to make sure that folks that were listening have an opportunity to hop back in and hear what was being discussed. So, yeah. All right, Anna. Thank you so much for hopping back in there. This is why people have assistants for these things sometimes. Awesome. Okay. So we're gonna just kind of keep rolling in here a little bit, and I'll kind of get I'll do a little bit of a restart so that folks are that did not hear are hearing, because I want to make sure that they are tracking what was being said, and I don't want them to feel as if they were anything was left out. So all is well. You can hear me. Thank you so much. I love this stuff, but sometimes technology is fun. So, what I was sharing is we talked through in that post that I had in the Facebook group, talking a little bit about, when should we talk to our child, and or what we should talk to our child about after their round of golf. And this is a sensitive topic, as I have shared before, and working with parents and their youth, it becomes really challenging because we as parents of these golfers, we really want to talk to them, ask them, how, hey, check in with them. It's a big deal. And so one of the things that I have shared before is that oftentimes if we allow the child, essentially our golfer, to lead this conversation by simply allowing them to discuss how they felt about their own round of golf. And what I often hear, obviously, is from parents specifically, but even the golfers that I get an opportunity to work with, is they typically start off with some negative comments or conversation, things that they could have done better, things that they thought that they missed on. And so what ends up happening is, as a parent, the crucial step is to kind of take that step back, allow your junior to lead that conversation or that discussion, but really gently guiding them back toward this understanding of, well, what are some of the things that you actually had goals for, or things that you set out to achieve. So I call it just gently conversating with them, getting them to shift their perspective back toward the goals that they set out to achieve. And then you can have a different conversation with them with regards to, did you achieve that or did you not? I was sharing earlier when I didn't have the good volume going, is that I have a college player that actually played this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in an event, and talked to him today actually around being able to play in that event, have the ninth best score in that event, which was some of the things that we talked about. Actually finishing top 5 is one of his particular goals from a process goal. But ultimately what he and I were sharing is that we have this space with, we're talking about birdies for him. And so ultimately he's looking to get 18 birdies in 3 days is one of his goals that he is continuing to try to accomplish. He fell a little short. He had 14, which sounds like a lot, which it is. It's actually quite amazing in 3 days of an event. But ultimately, one of the things that I was sharing is that he didn't even understand or see, as we had this conversation, that one of the things that he actually accomplished was, for the first time, is breaking par or shooting under par for 3 straight days in a collegiate event. So he's done that in his junior golf history, but in a collegiate event, this was his first time being able to do that in 3 days. And so I was able to share that with him because I knew that by setting some of the goals that we had set, that byproduct of that would actually lead to him shooting under par at least 2 of those 3 days, but definitely 3 of the 3 was an amazing opportunity for him. And so just to get him to start having that conversation was my gentle shift for him towards the perspective, actually talking about the goals that he set out to achieve, because this not only fosters a solution-oriented mindset, but also empowers them to be able to recognize their progress, continue to help build the resilience that they have going for themselves. These are key components, resilience specifically, but also recognizing progress is huge for them to have the mindset that we're looking for and looking for them to build. And one of the things that we know is this: it is also super important for us to remind our kids that success is not always linear. I wish, we all are out here as adults, we wish that success kind of went like that. But we have to celebrate those small victories along the way. So what those small victories are typically goals accomplished during rounds, particularly during tournament rounds, because these are super important. Now, we have some special things that when I'm working with athletes with regards to practice, but specifically during a tournament round, there are small steps, small successes that they are able to accomplish that we really want to celebrate along the way. And we start to try to figure out specifically what those successes are and how we're going to actually celebrate those things. So speaking of celebration, that actually becomes one of those conversation points after a round of golf for our junior golfer. Is you're now able to really talk to them or allow them to start this conversation. And then as they begin starting this conversation, to kind of gently make sure that you're shifting their perspective more toward the goals that they set out to achieve. And oftentimes parents that I'm working with and their kids that I'm working with, that is one of the major shifts, the major pieces that a parent really notices is right away that my kid is actually not talking so negative about their rounds of golf, but they're actually talking more specifically about goals that they've achieved or accomplished. I know that's super important for me. That's something that I'm actually tracking with my players. When I actually ask them, hey, so how'd you do? I ask that question. If they start off going, well, I shot at this and at that, I say, wow, that sounds important, but what were the things that you actually set out to do? Now they're able to actually say, oh, yeah, you're right, you're right. And they pull out their stat sheets, they look through their decade or whatever it is that they're using to track these things. And then now we're having a conversation about the things that they accomplished, which is important because we want them to continue to accomplish those things. And then finding the areas that we need to fine tune. And maybe sometimes our goals are just not proportionate enough for where they are right now, technique wise. But oftentimes this is a great way for us to set the stage around that. These moments, what I always say for me, even in the work that I do, I'm building confidence with the player. Their confidence, the player is building confidence with me in the work that we're doing. I'm encouraging that growth mindset. Again, it's essential for long-term success, not only in golf, but obviously in life and school and where many of our students are right now. And so what we know is that the mental performance excellence in our junior golfers, it really starts with the power of our thoughts and emotions. So the things that we think really drive what we feel and what we do. So if we understand that, then we're actually able to start really nurturing the resilience and the confident mindset that comes with working with a mental performance coach specifically. But parents have an opportunity when I'm working with an athlete to kind of help come alongside so that they're also hearing the same language. So that way they begin to understand that, man, I play a crucial role in guiding my kid toward understanding and supporting their development along the way. And so by able to fostering this kind of mindset and this champion from within, what ends up happening is not only are we helping them achieve the success on that golf course that they're so longing for and that we are also longing for them, but it does seep into other aspects of their lives. So we have an opportunity really to just continue to have these open dialogues and open conversations with them. So that way we really begin to see and understand how we start shifting and moving our junior golfer down this road of mental resilience, mental toughness, but being able to do so in a way that actually helps them start to see specifically the gains within their game. And so once we're able to do that, once we start to understand these particular things, now we can actually start to see movement for and from them. So that way we can actually get, again, begin to understand like, man, we're really along this journey. We're really trying to get them moving in the direction that we want for their ultimate successes. And if we do that in a gentle way, I think that we start to find an opportunity for them to not only grow, but grow quickly with regards to their confidence, to helping them build that, but obviously helping to raise that generation of mentally tough golfers who are successful, not only at their current level, but at the next level that they're looking to achieve. And so I see that I had a couple of questions here too from my YouTube folks that were able to hear. I think it just was that Facebook space where the volume was a little wonky today. So I do sincerely apologize for that. And I'm going to field this question that came as well on Instagram as well. So I'll definitely, I'm going to put this one in our chat too. So I put this in here, and I'm going to show it as the question that was on Instagram. So it said, "What do you do when they can't see or they cannot see any positives?" This is a great question. Again, having my own junior golfers, this this seems often, and so again, I love to let them vent. Sometimes for juniors that I'm working with, I usually give them a time, literally like, all right, give me all the bad, and I'm gonna set the timer, literally, and I do, and I give them usually about a minute. Sometimes depending on the player, I might give them 90 seconds or so, but ultimately I give them that much time. I say, go for it. Focus on all the bad things that occurred. And then, one of the reasons that I love to do what I do is I'm very math and science focused. So let them give me the beans, spill everything they got. And then after that, I simply say, okay, well, these were the goals that we established that you wanted to accomplish. Can you talk to me about whether or not you accomplish those goals? So I just very much more directive in that moment. And I think parents can be that way as well. In a nice gentle way, but ultimately a little bit more directive in this. So when you don't see any positives, when the kid doesn't see any positives, that usually happens when the round ends poorly. I always often see that literally the round they might be playing beautifully. When the round ends poorly, a bogey, double bogey, a miss birdie, something like that, they lose. Any of those things happen. What we then tend to see is this: nothing good happened for 4.5, 5 or 6 hours that we were out there playing. And we know that that is absolutely untrue. So I really try to get them to focus on some of the facts that are at hand, so that they can begin to understand, what it is, and why it is that they were out there for all that time, the things that they were able to accomplish. So if anyone else has any questions, whether on Facebook, checking YouTube and Instagram, this is a good question. You can throw it in there, and we can definitely answer those questions for you. Here is another one here. Australia. This was also on Instagram. So it says, what is a good strategy for keeping, I'm assuming for keeping the right stats for them. This was another one of those. I think depending on the I don't know the level of your golfer or how old they are, but ultimately, depending on the age, depending on the level that they're playing, will determine to some degree the strategy that we use for stat keeping. There is obviously tons and tons of apps out there. There are certain things that we're looking for. What I can speak to is even a highly accomplished junior golfer is playing in some pretty good tournaments, not only regional tournaments but national tournaments. If they use a yardage book, and they went out for their practice round, they marked off their targets and things that they were looking to do. One of the things that I like to do post round after a 2-day or a 3-day event is actually to have them share with me, um, did they actually hit the targets that they set out to hit for that particular round. I think that's important. That's a particular strategy or a stat that I like to keep with my players. It's not necessarily something that you find maybe on a stat keeping machine necessarily, but it's definitely something that I want them to follow and help me help them, because I think that goes into how you're actually utilizing those practice rounds, the mentality maybe that you have from practice versus tournament play, because sometimes those things change, those targets change. Sometimes they get more aggressive, or sometimes they don't trust those particular targets. Maybe there was weather dependent or something like that. So I think for me, that's one of the strategies that I like to use, but definitely choose something depending on the level of golfer that you have. And so that way we can make sure that we're tracking, because it's so important. I had talked about numbers a couple weeks ago around what should we actually be tracking and why we should be tracking those things. So that's also located in that Facebook group. So we really want to do something. We want to be able to have them look back and see progress. So just like we were in school, we want to know, like, I went from an 83 this week to an 86 and 91, and you want to be able to see this progress. And so if we're able to do that, then ultimately what we will do, or what we will see, is them working harder and striving for certain things. As I mentioned, I said I was going to stay on just a hair bit longer because of the volume situation. I apologize for that. I'm going to continue to get better at this. I promise you that much. We're streaming on 3 different platforms, which is awesome. We have people on all of them. So I appreciate you guys on Instagram, taking a listen, YouTube as well, and obviously within the Facebook group. So thank you guys for being there. Just truly understanding, the importance of this. And I'm so glad. If you have questions, if you're looking for a copy of this again, I might do a little editing. I've never done that before on one of these videos, but I think I'm going to give it a shot. So that way we get to the part where you can actually have heard me. But I'll check the video and see if the volume was off there as well. If you don't have any questions, I appreciate you. I'll stay for just a few more minutes. If Gene or Anna, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I see you in there. More than willing to answer any questions for you. Okay. All right. With that being said, I'm getting ready to sign off, and I will see you all next Thursday. I will be here again, and looking forward to working with you guys. If there's any questions that you may have along the way, please let me know, and I will hop to answering those questions for you. Again, one of the things about these, if you're in the group, they will be housed in the group. So again, I appreciate you guys hopping in and spending a little bit of your Thursday evening with me. Thanks so much. Talk to you guys soon. Have a great one.